American Timelines is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network. Find out more at queencitypodcastnetwork.com.
So now I'm obsessed with time. Come on, tell me about the time. Had it all in my hand tonight. Had the time of my life. When the words all come down like blues on Tuesdays come down. Throw it all away. Throw it all
They loved it so much, and it was such a fun night for everybody. At the end, they're like, "Don't go. Free alcohol for all the comics."
Yeah.
And I had to drive. Everybody was getting trashed, and there was this one guy who's dancing with an 80-year-old. They were going ham.
That's wonderful.
That's
was
great.
So crazy.
Still drinks beer, grab smokes weed, asking Facebook friends, who do you really be? High school mascots. It's the friend check. Let's go deep and explore beyond the surface. What lies at our core? Are we just acquaintances or something more? Let's find out. Let's open the friendship door.
Welcome back to another Friend Check episode of American Timelines. Steve and I have a new guest who is someone I've only met one or two times, very briefly. Really don't know anything about each other, but we've been friends on Facebook for 5 years now-ish, and probably have never even interacted on Facebook. But alphabetically, it's time for Addy Kapur. Welcome, Addy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for your patience and being willing to participate in this weird project I'm doing.
It's only weird because it's positive. That's all.
Yeah, it's a great,
Yeah.
in the weird
it's a
world,
nice idea.
yeah, in the weird world we're in now, and it's like,
Right.
why are we? It's sort of trying to turn on its head the reason we use social media. Like, we all have all these friends. We're just connected for no reason. I'm trying to make a reason for us to be connected,
Nice.
and let's get to know each other. And tell me about you. And at the end of this, you get to choose, Addy. At the end, I'm sure you heard the other episodes. You get to choose whether or not we remain friends. Like, you can unfriend
There are
us
consequences.
There is no reason
Yeah.
for me to unfriend.
Yeah.
Well, you say
never
that
know.
now, but this is just the beginning.
You may find out something Steve did as a 7-year-old that is beyond the line. You don't want to be friends with me anymore, and you won't add him. But you never know. But so, thanks for being here. Let's get into it. So, for the listeners, Addy and I met in 2019 at a comedy festival called the Queen City Comedy Experience that I helped produce as part of a performing arts center I work at with Comedy Zone and with the Queen City Comedy folks. And Addy, I'm just going to start with what I do know about you, and I'll let you fill in everything else.
Sure.
Addy was we had our headliner that year was Nate Bargatze, who has since blown up. He's become huge.
Completely blown up.
He was our 1,200-seat theater at the time, headlining it. And I will admit, before we booked him, I didn't really know who he was.
Right.
And he was such a new sensation that I actually have his cell phone number because he advanced the show himself, text me when he got there, things like that. Wow. Now he's way too big to do that, but I haven't deleted his number, which I probably should. But just that's a flex I have. I've got Nate Bargatze's phone. But now he's too big. He's a big shot. But Addy helped us take videos and pictures at the VIP meet and greet we did for him, which was part of the festival. As well as some other events in the comedy festival, I believe. Right. And so I was connected to Addy. And at the time, this festival was sort of a grassroots type of thing. Mm-hmm. For those who don't know, it's sort of a local comedy festival with local comedians and improvisers with national headliners that we bring in to try to get some attention on the locals. Right. And so Addy, I assumed, because everybody else that did everything, video, sound, everything we do is all just in another comedian. So I assumed you were a comedian of some sort or in the comedy community for some reason. And I did, just as I was waiting for you to join, I was just I realized you were in the comedy community. I was looking at our mutual friends. Every single one, there's like 53 mutual friends. Everyone is a comedian or an improviser. And then I somehow I came across I saw a picture of you with a Comedy Zone logo in the back, so I knew you did a Comedy Zone stand-up. Yeah. So you must have taken the class, and so I found your YouTube video. If you look up Addy Kapur on YouTube, you can see his stand-up. And I was laughing. It was some funny stuff 5 years ago-ish. So you've done some stand-up. You've done some photography and video, and that literally is all I know, except for what I stalked about you. And saw that you were an owner of a startup that has something to do with calendar management for appointment scheduling, which seems like a great idea. Right. And then you started it, and then you sold it, and now you have a new startup, right?
Correct.
That's the extent of what I know about you, Addy. Let's get into everything else. So tell me about what your day-to-day is. Like, are you still doing stand-up?
I stopped. I miss it quite a bit, but since COVID hit and everything stopped, and then there was almost like a 2-year break.
Yeah.
And I was a newish comic. I did for 2 years.
Okay.
2019, maybe a little bit 2018, I started. So I did for a little bit 2-ish years, and then COVID hit, or 1.5 years maybe.
Yeah.
And once that break happened, then it was just so hard to get back. And as you're older, you have a little more risk. So younger guys started like way early, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to risk that.
Yeah, I'm exactly with you. That's why I say to myself every day, it's hard to keep. There's so many shows I want to go see. Oh, I want to see those two guys. I love those comedians, but I'm tired and old. I'd rather sleep or take a nap or relax. It really is harder as we get older to participate.
It takes a different sleep schedule. That's all.
It takes a different.
You need to take a nap in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe a late night snack.
I took a nap today.
Yeah,
and then,
because we're doing this.
Yeah, this is us with a nap, right? That's right. Yeah, because this is 8:45 p.m. But I wouldn't have agreed to do this if this was somewhere else, probably. This wasn't in my garage, and I couldn't take a nap earlier today. But yeah, I really feel like I didn't feel it till the pandemic either, so I'm with you on that. Like, that just broke something in me. Maybe it was all the alcohol. I don't know.
The sedentary alcohol. Those are two things.
It was a long time, for everything to like fully ram back up, almost 2 years, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And everything changed,
Yeah, everything.
Working from home situation and buying situation and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Now travel, like I didn't travel for a long time.
Yeah, but I didn't want to either. I didn't want to do anything or leave and then you realize how much you can do from home and how why was I commuting? Why was I in the car for an hour and a half every day on the way there and the way back, just sit still traffic to be at a different place where I can do the same things? Like what's the now with events, obviously I have to be there to pay somebody, but there's a lot of office work. Anyway, so tell me about your startup. Like, how long ago did you start your startup, and what's the gist of it?
So I started in 2010, maybe a little bit earlier, as a part-time thing. In 2010, I went full-time.
Okay.
So it was a long time. I did for maybe 10-ish years. So it was an appointment scheduling software.
Okay.
Where we would sell to businesses, and businesses would sell to, on their customers could book appointments with them. Okay. And then it was, now you can say you built it and you sold it, and there was like a 10-year gap.
Yeah.
But those 10-year gap was a slog. It took a while.
It took time to get it to be what it was.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's something similar to like Calendly or whatever.
Calendly, yeah.
Yeah, which is
so it's something similar, but we had more lot of enterprise customers. So we had even Facebook was our customer, Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
The Moderna vaccine people. With vaccination, it blew up even more.
Oh yeah, that's great.
We had Uber in the beginning.
Nice.
We had U.S. Army, many.
Oh yeah. Logistically, that's a good gig.
That's awesome. So did you design it yourself? Like, were you the mastermind behind it?
Correct. Yeah, I designed it and I built it for a long time, and then we had a couple other developers, but I did this over 10 12 years.
Wow, that's cool. So
wonderful.
I imagine we've probably seen it on different websites. So if I'm on CVS's website or something and they have the calendar scheduling, it's that kind of back end type of thing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Wow, that's awesome. So have you been a software engineer, developer forever?
Years, 30 years.
30 years of doing that?
Yeah.
Nice.
So when did you go into, like, did you go to that school for that?
Well, back then it was not something they taught in college. At least I was in India at the time.
Okay.
I grew up there, and I did my engineering in India.
Awesome.
Then,
okay. Cool.
Yeah. So that's where I was born, in Delhi.
Oh, you were born in Delhi.
Yeah.
Oh, this is exciting. Okay, this is great. International.
Yeah. So I did my engineering there, and then
I
got married, and then after. But we were struggling. Being a software engineer in India at the time, when a lot of people don't know what computer is, let alone software, it was rough.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then I finally got a job, and then got a job in US. I came over in 98, I think.
1998. Okay, that's what I
nice.
say. About the time you came over here was 1998. And you came, did you let the job dictate where you moved, or did you want to come to the U.S.?
I wanted to come to US, but then I started looking at different jobs.
Okay.
It was a little bit easier to get the job back then. I got a few offers.
Okay.
And then I got an offer, and I came here.
And did you come right to Charlotte from Delhi?
No, California.
California.
Yeah,
California.
North, south, mid.
Did I missed that?
Yeah, so I went to Cupertino, stayed in California for a few years.
Oh,
And then I was consulting.
Ground floor Cupertino.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was consulting for a few years, and which means every 2 weeks you ship out to a different client.
Okay.
Go to
Nice.
Austin for 2 weeks, come back. Then go to Toronto for 2 weeks, come back. Go to
Wow.
St. Louis. Go to this. I mean, all over.
Good way to learn your new country, right? Or
Right.
Yeah.
new continent, at least. Like,
Right. I had
Toronto.
my daughter was very little at the time, like 6 months here or 1 year. You know, she was.
Yeah.
So I told them to send my family, and at the time with .com, money was flowing with these people. We didn't get the money, but
No, they did. Yeah.
When you say these people, he's pointing
The
up.
bosses,
So the
yeah.
boss
Yeah,
at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you became your own boss. That's cool.
Right,
So you're in Silicon Valley, right? At this time.
Yeah.
So okay, that's exciting.
Right.
And Steve, you're familiar with that area?
Yeah. No, I'm aware of it. I'd never been, but
okay.
yeah. I see
Steve's been a
TV
couple
shows, Google Maps.
Right.
I was a little south of Cupertino. I was down Mar Vista way,
Oh, nice.
Southern California.
Yeah.
Nice.
For a couple
Yeah.
years he lived there. He lived out west. Okay, cool. So that's how you got to California in the software biz industry. You and your wife came together, but was your daughter born here?
She was born
States?
in India, but she was like 3 months old when we
Okay.
Oh,
got here.
yeah. So she's
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't want to bring. My wife was pregnant at the time when I came. So I didn't want to bring because I didn't know.
no. Yeah, that's a horrible situation. Yeah.
Right.
No. Yeah.
Like 6 months
Oh.
pregnant.
Oh.
like, no.
Geez.
Yeah.
So I said, so she was born then.
Welcome to your new country, honey. Later.
Went back.
Yeah.
And got things situated, and then got her passport and everything. Brought
Okay, at this point, you bring over your wife and your young daughter. You're working for software. Have you, at this point, did you ever think about doing comedy at that point? Or did you do comedy in India at all?
No, I did not, no.
Never even thought about it. Okay,
No.
you're here to make a better life for yourself.
Right.
And
I mean,
everything.
I felt like I was slightly funny, but, everybody thinks they're funny.
Yeah.
That's what I wonder. So India, can we talk a little bit about growing up in India? And so how old were you, if you don't mind me asking? It's going to age you a little bit when you moved here to the United States anyway?
28.
28. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Okay.
98, 28.
So 28 years in the same area of India? And
I was born in Delhi, and we stayed in Delhi. But, engineering, I went out for 4 years.
what's Delhi? Tell me what Delhi's like. What's it like living in Delhi?
So now Delhi's population is around 30 million people.
Oh my
Maybe
gosh.
34.
Yeah, so I had a friend who worked with me at the theater, and he was an usher, and he would show me videos. He would talk to me about just what it's like. He was also a software developer, but he was like, look at the traffic. Right. Like, he showed me some video that was like a 4-way busy intersection. I can't remember what part of India it was, but it was.
So everybody who drives in India, it's one of those running jokes.
Yeah.
So lanes, like when you drive in the US, you have multiple lanes, and you have a set of rules, and you follow those rules.
Yeah.
And you drive,
for the most part,
drives, follows.
Yeah.
There's just so many cars. The rules are very soft. Yeah. More suggestion.
Yeah, more suggestion. I mean, it's insane. If you can look up this video, I mean, just look up. You can just Google traffic.
I've lived through it, so I don't know.
Listeners. I'm just like the listeners. If you haven't lived through it, it just like it blows my mind that there's not more accidents because there's no lights, there's no taking turns. Everybody's just going, and you just go until something's in your way, and then you go again.
So there are lights. Just to be fair, now
there are lights.
There have been lights. There are lights, but red light means you make sure and then you can go. I mean, police catches you and you get ticket, so it's not allowed.
Okay, so they do that, yeah.
But everybody is,
there's only so many cops,
right?
Kind of like jaywalking here, right? I mean, sort of.
It's illegal, but
Yeah, that's kind of what I've actually kind of wondered that sometimes. Like when I do a lot of walking uptown, I've never, I don't look at crosswalks. I look at if cars are coming and go. So sometimes when I do that a lot, sometimes when I get in the car, I want to do that. I'm like, I should just go, wait, it's a red light. What am I doing? So I could kind of see how we could get there if the population was what it was, So it's just, I guess you just deal with what's.
And the funny thing is, at night, if you're going and there's no car around and there's a red light and you stop at the light, like I would stop. My family would yell at me, "What are you doing?" Go, boy. I'm like, no, it's at night. No, what are you doing? You have to go. So
why are you stopping? Did you leave any siblings behind in India?
I did at the time. Then my brother also moved.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where does your brother live in?
Now he lives in California. Yeah.
Oh, California. So he's still across the country. But
right. When I was in California, he was in New York.
Okay.
When I went East Coast, he was
you guys.
So I mean. Well, you guys were so close back in India. You don't need to be that close anymore. You can meet in the middle. There's all this country,
Right.
Is the younger brother, older brother?
Younger brother.
Younger brother, okay. You guys get along pretty good?
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah.
Nice.
Still get together?
I mean, it's hard being across the state, but we are still grew up the same way, so we're still connected with a lot of things.
That's
food.
Cool. That's
we
great.
mostly send each other food memes,
Nice.
Food memes?
Yeah, memes or food from Delhi, and they're like, oh, somebody eating. So we're like, oh my God, that looks so good.
What is your favorite home food?
I mean, there are a lot.
You don't have a favorite?
I do. So there's a thing called chole bhature. So it's like fried dough. And then with chickpeas, it's spicy. It's just
you had me at spicy.
Every culture has a fried dough. You had me at fried dough,
How do I spell that? Can I order that somewhere here?
In Charlotte, you get in some of the Indian restaurants.
Okay. Can you say it again? What it's called?
It's called chole, means chickpeas, and bhatura is the fried dough. Or there is a puri chole, which is also similar but different dough.
Okay.
Fried.
So I've one thing that I get to do at where I work is every year there's we host the Festival of India, and the folks that put that on I've gotten pretty close to over the years. I've been working with them for 12 years, so they always invite me to their big parties and stuff, and I get to eat all that food, and it's so good. So I get to taste things that I would have never. And I really like spicy stuff, and but everything I've ever eaten that they bring, I don't know if it's just I'm older now and I'm hungry and I'm fat and I like to eat everything. It's like everything is so good I can't get enough of it, So, but yeah, so that's cool. So that's why I like to get recommendations of what can I eat. What do I? Charlotte's not it's not the greatest city.
It's not the best, but it has
food,
grown over the last few years. Now there's so many restaurants.
It seems like it's getting better, and I need to get out of my shell in my neighborhood, and whatever. Right. So, but yeah, cool. Okay, this is great. This is exciting. I love this. There's so much information. What about other things back in India before you moved here? Would you say What's the biggest thing you miss about? Gosh, I just can't. Besides food. Is it food?
Food is the biggest thing. Yeah.
Food is the biggest thing?
Yeah.
When you say family out, food is the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then travel, India is a very big country.
Yeah.
I mean, not as big as US, but still
It's
big,
a subcontinent.
It's very diverse in terms of what they have. It has the highest mountains with Himalayas.
Right.
Like a big range. It has a desert. It has a land, like lot of lakes, sea, a lot of ocean area. So it has a lot of variety of things. And I have traveled fair bit, but probably not enough.
Not enough. Yeah. What's the weirdest thing what was the hardest thing to adjust to in the United States of America, would you say? Like, what's like, just like, what? Like, is it hill people? Like, lake people? Like
Valley people?
Country music?
River people?
Those things were not hard at all. It's easy once, you're working and you get colleagues and you work.
Get to know people. Yeah.
Right. Going to bars initially, that was new. And then alcohol is always an equalizer,
Yeah.
Alcohol, the great equalizer.
Right.
Was going to bars new? You just didn't do that in Delhi, or is it just not as big of a thing?
It was not at the time. It was not, because they didn't allow sale of alcohol that much.
Oh,
so you had to just buy from a place and drink at your home.
Drink at home, yeah.
Right. Bars was not a thing.
Okay.
Now, of course, it's there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at the time, it was not allowed to sell.
Wow.
So a lot of things. Cars was new. Driving on highways was new.
Okay.
And then when we came over, we had a bunch of friends, a lot of Indians. So they would tell us, okay, you have to get your license. You have to do blah, blah, blah.
Oh, no.
So we got
That's
a lot of...
That's good. You have a support system when you got here. That's nice. Yeah.
Let me ask you a dumb question about Delhi or where you went to school. So is the school, is it the same as like the States where there's like a middle and a high and elementary, or is it all just one?
Just one.
Just one big school?
It had middle, high, and elementary, but was one school.
Okay.
So the way it works is I went into kindergarten before first grade.
Okay.
It was called prep. And then from there, that year and then 12 more years of school, you were in the same high school with the same batchmates. So the cohort that came in at the time where I was in kindergarten is the same cohort that graduated with me in fourth grade.
Now, how many students would you say? 200?
Yeah.
That's
that's
similar
not bad.
That's similar to us. So we're weird from where we come from in Ohio, is that our small town is kind of like that. Not a lot of people come and not a lot of people go. So it's a lot of the same people from kindergarten all the way through.
Right.
And we think other people think that's weird about us. Don't we?
Yeah.
The same. Like my kids think that's weird about us. Like I knew every single kid, and from when they were a baby.
Right.
Right. And my kids,
like
don't
my
know
best
anything.
friends are. We were together in kindergarten, and now they are. We are still friends.
Oh yeah.
Have, like many of us were friends, and some were newer because they came in fifth grade or come and go.
Yeah.
I love that. So that's very similar to our small town in Ohio. Only we are all white trash.
Well, I mean, not everyone was.
Yeah, not everybody. Steve and I are.
But were you together in high school?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we've known each other since the second grade.
Yeah.
And we've been best friends since then. And
So
we
same-
lived together
we-
in college.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's really neat. So is it the same? This is going to be another question. Steve knows where I'm going with this. So when you're in high school or middle school, I guess, is it similar where there's sports are part of school and you have a mascot and team colors and all that?
No, we have team colors.
Okay.
There is no mascot. Mascot is very American.
It's an American thing, a weird American thing. Yeah.
Well, hey, there's a lot of mascot work in Japan too. I don't know if
It's a cultural.
Yeah. Okay.
Each
Handover.
culture is its own.
No,
yeah.
no. I mean, it's an American thing that is.
Oh yeah. No, we like our mascots.
So we can't.
for
So I can't say
everything.
when you were in high
sport?
school, you were the red and blue fighting anything. Like
No,
we were the blue and gold Rangers. You're not.
Right.
There's no translation to that.
We had a school uniform, not uniform. We had a uniform, but we had a sports team had a colors. So when we would play, like I would play basketball with other teams. So
Yeah.
they had colors and whatnot, but there was no cheering pom-pom girls.
No, like yelling about it.
No,
My mascot's better than
No
your
one started a
mascot.
fight for no good reason. No fighting.
I mean, some fight. Yes.
Oh, well, that's good.
always
That's
fighting
good.
everywhere.
Yeah, there's some. Good.
Everyone has fights.
Takes things way too seriously. That's good.
Did you do any?
What were your colors? Let's not move.
Oh yeah,
too
what
fast.
are the colors? Yeah,
What are the colors?
What were your team colors?
I think it was gold and what was it? Reddish, like wine red.
Okay, like a burgundy and gold.
Burgundy and gold. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. That's a good color. That's a good combo.
Washington Commanders kind of
Something,
color.
yeah.
Did you did you participate in athletics, or were you more of a theater guy?
I was both. So I was when I was younger, I was in a musical. I was singing, but now I can't say bullshit. But when I was very young, and I was very tall. I grew very tall. I'm 6'4".
Oh yeah,
So
I do remember you towering over me
right.
when we met.
So I was forced into playing basketball.
Yeah,
And I hated every minute of it.
You hated it.
But I had no choice.
Yeah.
I was not athletic, but I was tall and I didn't want to run. I'm like a geeky guy. Eventually, I found computers. At the time, I had not found computers.
You didn't have them then, right?
I didn't have them,
as the way they are now. Yeah.
Correct. So I did not like it much, running and athletics and all that stuff. But I had to participate.
Yeah,
So
no,
I was
yes.
very good
love it.
at it.
See, that's the universal thing. The whole world has done a disservice to our tall people. Our tall people are forced into sports.
Yeah.
We had a guy like that, Tim Gargak. He was like 7'3".
No, he was kind of ridiculous.
And I think they forced him to play because he could just stand there and put it in and not have to do anything. But I don't think he wanted to. I think people forced him.
I think there's probably some bullying involved. Yeah,
I'm sure there was bullying. So yeah, poor Addy got bullied too. So, but you didn't make it to the NBA or the Olympics or anything. No, okay.
Close, but only
So you mentioned this, so I'm going to jump on this train for a second. You said you're a very nerdy guy. What would you say you are the most nerdy about? Like, what is your nerd obsession? Like, some people are Star Trek, some are Star Wars, some are comic books, superheroes. What's your nerdy besides
at the time in India, we
Yeah.
were reading a lot of comic books, so comic books was a big thing.
Oh, cool.
Star Wars obsession, superheroes obsession, the way it is in US is not there in other, or at the time at least it wasn't there. You know,
yeah.
I mean, this is like before we had all the things. MTV, we would get tapes of MTV. So we wouldn't have direct telecast. So it was like before we could see NBA and whatnot. We had video cassettes.
Recordings.
So that
of
was
it,
exported much later. So those nerdism is very American. And then, now they're exported all over. I'm sure they're everywhere.
Yeah, it's probably everywhere now. So everything's instant now.
Right.
So are you a big music guy? Like, were you into MTV like videos and things?
We were watching, a bunch of different things.
Okay, bands and whatever.
MPA,
And so when you say the comic books were big in India, is it similar to how it is here, where there was, I don't know if it even is like this anymore, but like there's a corner comic shop that people go to and they subscribe and get their comic books like that kind of thing?
So we had the DC Comics and Marvel then, but they were, and then there were like a bunch of local comics, Indian, that were made. And then I don't know if I've ever actually bought a comic, but some of my friends were more nerdy than me and they had everything and we would just borrow from them and that was good enough for us.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, me too. That's like you
I have a little collection.
Who has everything, and then you make friends.
Yeah. Yep. Make friends with the guy who has all the comics. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't buy them either. I would just read my brothers all the time, or Steve had some.
No, I had some. I'd read. Yeah.
So who's your favorite comic book character? Do you have a favorite?
At the time, it was Superman. And then when Supergirl came out, Supergirl became, if you remember Supergirl when it came out.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly when. I'm a little bit newer into the comic world, but I'm starting to get into some of that. The online comics and everything are neat to read and see. So I'm kind of new to some of that. But okay, so you're in California with your your wife and your daughter into the software stuff. What brought you to Charlotte, or when did you come to Charlotte?
I came in 2008. So after I traveled for a few years, then we got a project in Michigan, and then I landed in Michigan, a suburb of Detroit. So I was there for 10 years.
Oh, nice.
Detroit. You were what suburb of Detroit were you in?
Novi, Northville.
What is it called?
Novi and Northville.
Oh, do you know that, Steve?
Yeah, Novi.
Yeah, Novi.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
So Farmington Hills was our office, and I lived in Novi.
nice.
Okay. Novi. So we're from Toledo, so we're not far.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Just outside of Detroit. So, but we're Michigan fans. Just because we're closer to Ann Arbor than we were to Columbus. So,
nice.
that big rivalry. I don't. Did you get swept up in that when you were there?
Yeah.
You had to.
But I had Michigan State and Michigan too.
Michigan State. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you were closer to Michigan State, right?
No, Michigan. No, University of Michigan. Ann Arbor was very close.
Oh yeah, Ann Arbor's close. That's right. To Detroit. Yeah. So we just watched that game that was just this past weekend,
right.
And of course Michigan won the fourth in a row, and it's fun to rub it into Ohio State fans who get really upset. It's funny.
And
it's like a real
thing I
thing.
know is all Michigan fans. I mean, one half is Michigan fan, another half are comedians.
Oh yeah, the Michigan fans are comedians. That's hilarious. Yeah. So we. My wife was from St. Louis, and we lived in Ohio together for a little while. And she would, she was a teacher and go to school and be like, I have to pick a side? Right. What is this? What's this Ohio State Michigan thing? Right. What side are we? I'm like, oh, you wear. She's like, should I wear a red shirt? I was like, no, you're blue and gold. You wear my Michigan. And she was like, I've never seen anything like it. She said, people who are friends are not speaking to each other. They're like, they are not getting along. It's really weird. What is happening? And I was like, that's Michigan, Ohio State. It's the biggest rivalry in all of sports.
It's stupid.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Like
if you've graduated 40 years ago and you're
you didn't even go to either school.
Yeah.
Like I didn't,
exactly.
I went to Bowling Green State University, but I have a Michigan Ohio State team. Like friends that are
we had a Buckeye. Your Buckeyes or Wolverines before you go to college.
Correct.
Yeah. You don't make it. You don't make it through high school. Yeah, you don't make it.
Yeah. We're kids, and then sometimes families are divided.
And then they have babies, and they're like 1 day old, and they're wearing Michigan colors. Almost questioning them.
We throw around the term indoctrinate a lot, but that is one of the. You don't have a choice.
Let me ask you this, Addy: do you own any Michigan Wolverines attire?
No.
No. Okay. He did not participate.
Too cheap. It
is expensive.
$70 thing.
Yeah, they are expensive.
Yeah.
So I have a Michigan hat that I bought at Kroger last time I was in there because it was like $4. Yeah. So because I can still be a cheapskate and still support the team that I have no affiliation with at all.
Right. Yeah.
Other than I think I had a family member who I think my cousin's child was at the Ann Arbor University of Michigan Hospital, Children's Hospital for a little while. So
we knew some people that have some siblings that went there.
Yes. Yeah. And there was a guy in my neighborhood who was a pitcher. He pitched for Michigan.
Okay, well, there you go.
Eric Heinschel. Remember Eric Heinschel?
Yeah, I remember Heinschel.
He was a pitcher for Michigan. I think his son is going to go. I think he's going to play football for Michigan, possibly.
Oh, good.
Nice.
So we'll see. Anyway, that's a whole sidetrack. As you see, we do that. So then you're in Michigan for a while, and then 2008 you came down to Charlotte?
Correct.
It was for work?
Yeah, so my company moved from Michigan to Charlotte. I mean, they already had a branch, but they moved over to Charlotte. And I was about to join another place, and then I moved with them.
Okay.
And then in 2010, I quit. I helped them with the transition and everything.
Yeah. And so 2010 is when you focus on your startup, right?
Correct.
Nice.
Cool. Okay, that brought us a big full circle thing.
Right.
But so once you got to Charlotte, were you like, okay, this is my kind of weather, I'm staying here? Or do you miss Michigan? Or
we missed Michigan for quite a bit,
Okay.
So when we were in Michigan, we hated the cold.
Yeah.
Good.
Once you come out, you forget about the cold and you miss
Michigan. Miss the other stuff, yeah.
Right.
I struggle with that same thing every year. Right. So I go back every summer to Michigan, up in West Branch. I don't know if you ever heard of West Branch. So it's up
beautiful territory.
It's like up, see, up here, ish. Wait, is it this side? Yeah. No, so it's kind of
because Detroit's around here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just north in the middle of the lake, just middle of nowhere. Outside of St. Helen, things like that. I'm trying to think. Saginaw's. It's past
the Highlands. It's the Highlands. It's just wonderful.
This little lake called Clear Lake, and it's very remote. You drive, even after you're off the highway, you drive another 30 minutes, and it's just
your
dirt
GPS
roads.
Drops out.
There's no GPS. There's no cell phone service. There's no police.
It's
just a bar, a party store, and the lake. And
it's so beautiful.
You just sit out there, and it's the loons are out on the lake, and you just sit there and you drink beer in front of a fire all week. So we go back, and it's those kind of things. Like, gosh, and my daughter's like, I want to live here forever. It's like, gotta remember, it's not like this all the time. It gets really freaking cold.
Really cold.
Other thing is Michigan, because a lot of people, what I realized later is a lot of people didn't move like you guys, right? So everybody was close to each other for a very long time. So there are more friends, there are more deeper roots because your family stayed there.
Yeah.
When you come to Charlotte, it has no culture, or at least it didn't have any culture. It still doesn't have a lot of, because everybody's a transplant from somewhere. Nobody has family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there it was like very family oriented.
Everybody was family oriented, right? Even if it wasn't you, that was family
Even
oriented.
our friends
were
like family. It's different.
There's an unspoken community when you have a portion of generations just repeating.
Correct.
So, Addy, why do you think that is? Because I've thought about that a lot. Is it the Great Lakes region people just stay put? Or do you think it's just...
I think most places people stay put for a while. As long as there is enough... I mean, that's why India has a lot of people who stay there. As long as there is enough things that are generating enough jobs, people like to stay there until they have to go out for job hunt or whatever, or company.
Sure.
So as you move from small town to Detroit, and then you are at a company, a lot of my friends who moved to Michigan with me are still in Michigan.
They stayed.
Okay. So if you are moving for a job, some cities are more, newer and they're growing like Charlotte is. But if it's not that, like New York, Charlotte, but if you go to many places, people who stayed there for generations, then you would probably have a different culture.
Yeah, I've never seen it quite like Charlotte, where nobody seems to be from here. Like even New York and Chicago, there's a big chunk of people that are from there, born and bred, and I'm a New Yorker, all that stuff.
Right.
But Charlotte, when you find somebody who's from here, you're like, oh my gosh, you're weird, and they're always nondescript. Like there's no accent that they have. There's no
so there is no culture.
There's no culture. It's such a weird. The other complaint is that it's such a weird melting pot of people from everywhere. Why don't we have more foods and things like New York does of culture?
Right.
Like, why don't we have better Indian restaurants and better pizza and better Italian?
Because people move there, they already have the jobs that they move there for. They're not moving there to start a business.
Nobody's moving here to open a restaurant. That's the problem.
But you have enough people that go there, it'll sustain. You'll get people like that.
I mean, in past 5-10 years, I've seen a big growth of local restaurants.
Exactly.
As you have people who are like, I'm going to open a restaurant to make pizza, or I'm going to open a dumpling lady, for example, or whatever.
Yeah, she's good.
So there's so many.
That diner place. That diner place you took me to, Joe.
Was it the Red-Eyed?
The Red Eye
diner. I think it's Uptown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody loved that diner, and that was. Was it the Red-Eye or was it the?
It's like the one. It looks like a cover of a '50s diner. It's like a cover band.
It was a Red-Eye diner.
There was a Matt's. Was it Matt's Diner? Near Music Factory. Then it moved to Music. There was one in Music Factory.
Was there a diner over there? Yeah. No, this one was Red-Eye, Uptown, and it's.
Open 24/7,
Yeah. I've had some people come in town, eat their grits, and just like, these are the best grits I've ever had in my life.
That's the beginnings of a culture right there.
Right. But see, Michigan, if you remember, Michigan has a lot of diners and has a lot of the Greek diner culture.
Oh yeah,
You know,
Greek, definitely.
Whatever those euros and whatnot you get. So it has a very
euros and shawarmas, all that.
Shawarmas,
yeah.
That's why I'm sort of obsessed with localities and visiting small towns. I love visiting small towns I've never been to because they have, like, what is this place doing here in the middle of nowhere?
Oh, yeah.
It'll be like a Greek or a really good, authentic, whatever, Thai place in the middle of Ohio? Like, what?
Right.
You know, how did this get here?
Right.
You wouldn't know about it unless you go. And so I almost have more fun going to a small town that has no visitors. You know, it's like I'm part of the local. Because you go out to the bars there and you're like a local. You're not a tourist. Whereas you go to New York, Chicago, even Charlotte, uptown, you're just a tourist here.
Everybody's
a
tourist,
But if you go to a small town, so I'm kind of trying to come up with a thing where I'm trying to make a group of friends just let's all meet up in some small town somewhere that we have no reason to go, except for a brewery. Like there's breweries everywhere, and they're always pretty good. You know, everybody knows how to make beer now. So, and I'm a big craft beer guy.
Yeah. Charlotte has a big boom of that.
They sure do,
Everything
and I'm
is
enjoying
brewing.
it. I'm Noda Brewing, little slurp behind me, so that's my favorite. Okay, so now when you got here to Charlotte, do you hate the weather here?
No,
or do you
love
like
the weather. Yeah,
you like the
is
weather?
good, yeah.
The weather.
See, I don't miss the shoveling snow at night.
Good, you should.
If you don't shovel at night, it's going to be hard as ice more tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah.
So you come from work, and then like 10 o'clock you eat dinner, and 10 o'clock your like nose is dripping and you're shoveling snow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't miss that at all.
Yeah,
Good,
it hurt my
good,
back.
you should.
Yeah.
I get one of the. I have an ergonomic shovel. It's got like a bent bar,
Right.
I do too because it snowed. So I moved down here in 2012, and in 2013 I bought a house, and I live in Waxhaw, and we got rid of all the kids. We got rid of their gloves and hats and snow stuff, and then we got a giant snowstorm in February of 2014, right when I bought my house, and I was like, I have nothing. Like I'm out there and like, you know, like put my sleeves down like this to shovel, and it's like I took all my beers, put it in the snow, and just like let the kids take a garbage can lid and slide down the hill. You know, there was no sleds. They had no boot. Huh?
You know, it's snowing tomorrow.
It's supposed to snow tonight. Yeah, right. Tonight, tomorrow. Yeah, we're supposed to get some. And my kids are like, when are we going to get snow again? Because we haven't got it since 2014. We got like 6 inches that time, and I was like asking the neighbor, it's like, when do the plows come? Like, where's the plow? It's like 11 a.m. and nothing's plowed. They're like,
we have 2 plows in entire North Carolina.
I said, there's no plows. You can't go to work. And I was like, oh, so I'm just stuck here, huh? Let's crack open the beers. You know, so I do like that everything shuts down if there's just a hint of anything. I mean, they announce schools are closed and work is closed the day before sometimes. Like there's a forecast of snow or rain. So I can't believe school hasn't been canceled already, honestly, because it's supposed to snow tomorrow. But, so that's making me look at it. So, that's exciting. This is cool. This is we got really roundabout way we've been here.
Awesome.
So then now tell us about the stand-up. How did you get into when did you start stand-up and what made you do that? And
so as you get older and you are bored out of your mind with your daily grind, work, even startup, everything is a lot of work, and then you want to expand.
Yeah.
And one day I was at a show and I saw an Indian comic do opening act of somebody.
Okay.
And I thought, I can be better than him.
And now he is some super famous guy somewhere?
Maybe, I don't know.
So you're like, I can do that.
So then I didn't even tell my family. I just signed up for classes at the Comedy Zone, and I went in. I was completely green. I didn't know what to expect. When I'm here for the class, I signed up for it.
It was still Len and Joel teaching at that point?
Joel and
Yeah, Joel. Okay,
and then I took the class and it was great. And then after that, had a small group, and then my final act was decent. That's what you may have watched.
Yeah.
It got decent laugh and a lot of some good jokes. So I got good enough that people thought I was like not the bottom half of the class.
Sure, yeah. That's the kind of thing. It's like, am I good at this? Because everybody seems to kill at the graduation show. I'm like, am I really good? Because everybody's there to support their friends. And they're laughing. And then you're like, oh, now I got to figure out how to write new stuff and keep going. And do I really want to do this? Like, it's a lot.
So I did for a couple of years, and I became better and better. And I thought my jokes were somewhat, not everything. Obviously, delivery, I have an accent. Yeah. Everything came together, but I thought my jokes were decent and I had some potential, but then when it fell apart, I still miss it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to go back, and I may still go back.
Every once in a while, you think about it. Well, I have a monthly thing I'm doing now, and it's this local brewery in Waxhaw that I just started last month, and it was that Middle James Brewery. I don't know how far you are from Waxhaw, but if you're interested, let me know, because I can give you a couple minutes to get back into it. But because I thought you were funny. I was watching your thing. I loved how you came out. You came out right at the beginning. You were like, I like to do Simpsons impressions, but if with my accent, I try to do Homer, you think I'm Apu.
Doing Apu, yeah.
Right away, and then it like kind of breaks the ice right away. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. It's like you'll be different than anybody else on probably most shows that you've done. You're probably the only Indian guy on the show, probably, right? Which that's what I really like, to mix up the people. I'm tired of it just being another white guy, and here's another white guy. So my thing is like I did the same thing. I took that class at Comedy Zone, and then throughout the class they tell you like, hey, you should host your own show if you can. That's the best way to get time. And you need to go to all these open mics. And I was like, I'm not going to open mics. I work evenings, I work shows. When I'm off, I don't want to be doing this again. So I figured out a way to do that comedy festival as to do mics where I work. If I can do a mic here, host it here, then I'll just host it. If I'm hosting, I can just throw in some jokes here and there. And so now I'm to the point where I just like doing the host. Like, I just like one joke, and then I'll bring another comedian on. One little joke and bring a comedian. I don't have to do a whole set. I don't have to like live and die up there. If I'm dying, guess what? Next guy. If I'm out of stuff, another guy. I can just. And then if the art of hosting is really cool too to me, because like if there's a couple in a row that are not doing well, they're bombing or whatever, kind of try to lighten the mood and make fun of it a little bit, or if they are killing, then you go to the next guy right away. Let's keep that energy going, and just adding tags and stuff.
It's a different style it's a different art hosting, because I tried hosting. I was hosting one. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, I am not good at all, and it's not even my thing. So I did not like hosting.
You did, yeah. Yeah, because it's hard, because you're the guy that's got to answer for everything. If there's somebody who says something really offensive and it like really doesn't go well, then you got to like, what did that guy just say? You can easily kind of, but it's hard. You got to be the guy going up there.
So funny, I'll tell you a funny thing. So I had a friend from my previous work. So she moved to Albemarle. Albemarle, North Carolina.
Yeah.
So there, they have a small group, and she's like, she saw I was into comedy. She's like, can you bring a bunch of friends over and do a show at our, VA Center? I'm like, yeah, I can set it up.
In Albemarle? You drove up there? Okay, yeah.
So it's like an hour and a half away. I gathered a bunch. I said, I can just come in my car. It's a long drive, but I'll drive everybody. So I drove all the comics. We went there, and it was almost all black, like me and maybe one white guy, all black comics.
Yeah.
And it is like the most North Carolina thing, But oh my God, we had the most fun. And even to this day, everybody talks about that one show. And we did a few after that. Nice. That show was such a blast.
So what you say was like, it was very rural where you went, like very country, like a bunch of white people in a small,
and like everybody, they're walking and they have guns on the whole, it's
that kind of, okay, like hunter guys, like with camouflage hats and guns.
It's like they haven't seen a black guy ever, sort of. I mean, they have, but
see, Albemarle, I was kind of like, I'm not even really familiar. I know it's out there a ways, but that's the thing. When I find these people in these small towns, they're so excited that somebody's
literally the best show I've ever been part of.
Really? See, that's
my God.
That's what I'm realizing in Waxhaw. The people come to this show in Waxhaw. I mean, I can see stand-up comedy in my town here. I don't have to drive uptown, and then they're just into it. They're like, "Oh my God, this is great!"
They loved it so much, and it was such a fun night for everybody. At the end, they're like, don't go. Free alcohol for all the comics. Yeah. And I had to buy, everybody was getting trashed. And there was this one guy who's dancing with an 80-year-old. They were going ham.
That's wonderful.
That's great. So crazy.
Yeah, you're like invited to some barbecue somewhere out in the on the sticks. Well, that's the thing. It's like people want to laugh, and it's comedy can really bring it together. That's what we found at the Tap House or the Middle James Brewery that we did last month. We hadn't done comedy down here in like over a year and a half probably. And people were there just for that. It's a ticketed event. They have a room that they just made. It used to be a brew room. They took the kettles out and turned down the lights. They built a stage. And the guys that ran the brewery, this brewery's only been open less than a year, just like 6 months. And I just met the guy on a whim. I just said, hey, you ever want to do comedy here? I'm a guy who knows stuff. He's like, okay. And he trusted me. And then it killed. I brought in 5 comedians that were at the best of their game, but it was also the energy that was already there fed into the comics. They all fed off the energy. They were all like, this is the best. This is crazy. This is like a Don't Tell comedy show. This is the best show we've done in a long time. And then now the word has gotten around with the other comedians and they're all calling me. And it was like, used to be, it was like, I'm begging people to come to Waxaw. Will you come down to Waxaw? I'm like, Waxaw? What? Why would I come down? Wow. So now, we'll see. Thursday will be the second one. We'll see if it goes as well. But I'm also looking for people who aren't just the same old guys. I don't want, like I said, I don't want just 5 white guys, young white guys that are 23. It's just the same kind of jokes. So I bumped in this usher last week. They were doing a variety show. One of the ushers is she's a gospel singer. And one of the ushers that was working asked if he could do 5 minutes of comedy. And I'd never seen this guy before. He's probably 70-year-old guy, little Jewish guy with a big mustache. And he only did 5 minutes, so he didn't really get into much. But he says, yeah, I perform it. I go to nursing homes. I just do comedy stories. They're not really stand-up, but it's like stories. But he had a feel for it. Like he had that presence. So I was like, dude, I would like you to come to mine. So he's going to come do Waxaw in January, and I'm going to give him 15 minutes, so we'll see. I wouldn't say he was like the best in the world, but he also only had 5 minutes. He was like, "What?" And he just got into a story. But he's so different to me. It's like he's going to be the only 70-year-old man out there. So it's like, let's see what he's got, you know.
That's wonderful.
But like you said, like I like to mix it up and get more ladies and whatever. So so definitely I hope you come down to that. So and now I can plug hopefully now I got to edit this and put it out by Thursday. So
no, I won't perform, but I will come to watch.
Come check it out and see if it's something you'd want to do. And then it might be like last month.
Get me into the groove. You know, it's one of those things. I've been meaning to come back, you know.
Yeah, and maybe it'll get you back into it, or maybe you'll just want to do it. But that's why I'm open to. Like, if you want to do 5 minutes, just do a quick 5-minute set. That's fine. Whatever you want to do. So that's cool. Well, Addy, is there anything else about you that we should know? What does Addy Kapur stand for? Like, what do we need to know? Am I saying it right, Kapur?
Yeah, Kapur. Okay, I mean, other hobby is like cooking. You know.
Oh.
So I got into cooking for a few years ago. I was never cooked in my life.
Yeah.
And now I make cooking, and I make chocolates, and I make Indian things. I mean,
Okay.
So one of those weird things that you do when you grow old.
When you get older.
Hobbies,
So you weren't a cook before?
I've never cooked,
And so how did you start? Like, what made you...
I don't know. I saw some of my friends. We went out. We had an offsite with a bunch of my college friends.
Yeah.
And I saw them making, like, literally the best food I've ever eaten in my life.
Wow. And what was that?
Oh, my God. It's like a tandoori chicken they make, made with marinated overnight, and they made lamb, and they grilled it. It was like the best thing I've eaten.
Okay.
And then they made a rice dish with chicken, which took them like almost 2 days to make.
Yeah.
And then it was so delicious.
A lot of sauce on that chicken?
No, it's just spices, and you cook it in rice.
Okay.
So I cook it in rice. It cooks in steam. So all the chicken juice goes into rice, and all the spices they infuse.
Okay.
And then you cook it for like 2-3 hours, very slow cooking. And it's like so delicious.
I find myself, he's loving that. I'm finding myself loving sauces as I get older. Like, I can't get enough sauce. Put extra sauce on everything.
Right.
So when you... So what was the first thing you started with? What did you try to make one of those chicken dishes?
Yeah, I did slowly, but then you improve, then you make one, then you improve more. Then you learn techniques that okay, you can't just put dry spices. You have to roast them, and then you have to slow roast them. Then there's all the science behind it, and then you have to. So
because it releases at different temps.
Like the longer version of everything. So I can't do a quick meal. Like if you say, okay, make a quick meal, it's going to be harder. But if you say, make me a meal that takes me 2 days, yes, I can.
Make me an elaborate, delicious meal.
Right.
So,
have
you purchased equipment? Special equipment?
I got all the shit. Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Roasters and smokers and things like this?
So, no, it's just I have a Kamado Joe and I have grill and other things. I have a big... But you get the clay pots and then you cook some of those slow cooking things in clay pot because clay heats up very gently.
Okay.
Unlike other things. So, like when you put a metal, you put heat to it, metal will come to temperature right away. Clay pot will very slowly come to temperature and then it'll hold.
Okay.
So if you have a Kamado Joe or so you grill on it with charcoal.
Okay.
I mean, it's a different thing.
It's a whole different thing.
Like I make goat curry in it. Ooh. Then you put goats and a lot of spices and like so much onion. And then you let it simmer for 5-6 hours.
Okay.
And then everything melts away. Yeah. Even the goat flesh all gets into the sauce.
Oh, yeah.
And there is no water added, but all the
juices,
juices, released by onion and meat.
Oh, yeah.
Cooks in that.
It's the slow cooking process of simmering and...
Right.
Okay, so I'm just starting to like...
No, that's such a wonderful thing.
Well, I feel like in our society, we don't take time for anything.
We're starting to. We're getting
quicker,
around.
faster.
Yeah, we don't have patience.
But when my wife puts a chicken in the crock pot and lets it sit all day,
the
whole house smells great.
And it's so good.
Wait to eat that.
Right.
And then it's
chicken falling off the bones,
it's soft and
melting in your mouth.
That's how they used to cook for thousands of years.
Everything.
Like everywhere. And then as society became busier and busier, you're like short, quick.
Yeah.
And then now it's quick, but
And why are we so busy? Like, why do we got to work 40 hours and help somebody else?
No, because we are making the man earn more money.
Yeah, we're making more money for rich people. That's all.
Yeah,
they like money so much, and they tell us that they need it.
That's how they say they put us in cycles. So the older you go, the more cynical you get. Like, okay, this is a 8 to 5 is a system.
Yeah, pretty cynical. Yeah, I got to eat my food out of a bag in 30 seconds so that the rich guy can relax and get more money. Yeah,
work-life balance. Work-life balance, man.
Right. Yeah.
So, just today, there used to be an annual pig roast in town. All the kitchen cats would get together, and it would be the good old-fashioned way, hole in the ground. Right. Just a fucking hole in the ground, man.
Yes, and put coal and chicken in it or meat.
Oh, yeah. Cover it, start it in the morning, eat it by evening, you're good to go. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Steve is a chef. He's been a cook at a Greasy Spoon for a long time. Diner. He's a diner cook.
Yes. I think the title Short Order was. Yeah.
Short Order. You're still you make the best egg and cheese sandwich I've ever had in my life.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm good at eggs.
It's basically SpongeBob SquarePants.
See, I need to watch the show. I need to watch that show a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you reminded me of when you worked at that diner.
Well, I did. My voice was a lot higher then.
But, Steve, I imagine you do a lot of slow cooking.
Well, yeah, no, I do. I mean, I don't cook professionally anymore, so now I can take time and actually enjoy it.
Exactly. For yourself and your family.
Oh, yeah.
You can cook. Yeah, that's the best.
Oh, yeah.
So, Addy, how old is your daughter now?
So, she's 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
It lives with you in Charlotte still?
No, she moved to Seattle. She works at Microsoft, so she moved to Seattle.
Seattle? Works at Microsoft? Oh, my gosh. That's awesome. So software runs in the family, huh?
Right. My son is also a software engineer.
Oh, you have a son also? Oh, I didn't even get to talk about your family. So your wife, your daughter, and then you have a younger son?
Younger son, yeah.
How old is he?
Born in Michigan. He's
born in Michigan.
22, yeah.
Oh, 22. So he's a Wolverine.
Yeah.
Is he done with college now?
Yeah,
too?
he's done. Yeah, he's got a job now.
Where did he go to college?
UNC Charlotte.
Okay, and where did your daughter go to college?
Georgia Tech.
Oh, Georgia Tech. Okay, cool.
Nice.
Okay. So we got some mascots in there I can sprinkle in later. And then he's in software and does he live around here? Did you say?
He lives with us.
Oh, with you. Okay, gotcha.
He's like,
cool.
I don't want to go by myself and do all the cooking and all the stuff. That's too much
smart. Yeah, my son's 19 and he's showing no signs of ever wanting to leave. He's just like, he's
why
in
do I want to do
school.
that?
But he's like, yeah, I can just live with you guys forever. I'm like, dang it, are we too likable? Why do our kids want to live with us forever? So, well, Addy, this was great. This is great information. And your wife, how's your wife?
She's good. Yeah, she's enjoying life. Yeah.
Happy marriage? Does she do any stand-up?
No.
Is she happy you're doing the cooking?
Yes. So when we have guests over and I do most of the cooking, so she's really happy with that.
I bet she loves it. Awesome. Well, okay. Thank you. This was a really cool trip, and I really feel like I know Addy Kapur now.
No, thank you. I've had a blast meeting you, Addy. I appreciate
I would love to eat. I would love to eat your chocolates.
So yeah,
what kind of chocolates do you make?
Very different kinds. So I make truffles, or I make bars with almond. Again, the same thing, right? When you go to a store and buy, it's some factory. They have everything. So now I will like slow roast almonds and grate orange zest, and put it in chocolate and make, so it's a different level.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Or I make liqueur, so I add. I have a problem with accumulating alcohol.
You have a problem. You just need to share. You
have a problem accumulating alcohol?
Yeah,
Not drinking
I don't drink as much. I mean, I don't drink as fast as I used to drink, but I like to buy. So I have, like 200 bottles of stuff.
More chocolate.
Do you like to? You
have like 100-ish bourbon and 100 of other liqueurs. So I like to buy different liqueur flavors.
So you collect them, yeah.
So do you go to different places to find them, or do you order them, or what?
No, if I'm going somewhere, I don't go hunting because if I go somewhere, I find a new unique bottle.
Nice.
And you just get it to be, and then you might drink a little bit of it, but you're not drinking it. It's not your big goal. It's like kind of collecting the.
And then used to make chocolates. I have 6 different kind of cherry liqueurs or pecan liqueur or peach liqueur. Apple.
Wonderful.
So it's like make, mix and match different with cognac. I don't know if you've had chocolates with cognac. It's just
beautiful.
I haven't, but I'd really like to try it.
Yeah.
Bring some chocolates to the comedy show.
I will.
Wow, this is cool. See, this is the whole reason I'm doing this. Is like all this stuff about you, Addy, I would have never known, except that you're a guy who video recorded a meet and greet, or recorded a Nate Bargatze's meet and greet once. But now you're a man of the world. You're a Michigan guy and a California guy, a software guy. You got a family, you make chocolates, cooking,
fine creator of artisanal chocolates.
Once you meet new people, you find out like a whole new different rabbit hole of
it's wonderful.
Life they've lived. Yeah.
That's the thing is you're standing like any given time you're sitting in a room of 25 people and you have no idea what these people have done or can do or are like. And so far it's like every time I talk to somebody, I'm like, this is really cool. Why don't I talk to people? Why don't we talk to each other about our lives? This is so cool. And then it's like, now I know all these people that have that. I know a guy who does these things, so now I'm kind of gaining this. So, Addy, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you taking the time here. I know we're over an hour here, but thank you for doing this. And Steve, do you have any follow-up questions before we?
No, man. Thank you.
Enjoy his
evening. Thank you for being you, man. That's pretty cool. It's been a wonderful meeting.
We'll probably do it again next year.
Yeah, and I hope
when my name comes back. I don't know
if I'll ever get through the whole alphabet, but I will. I hope to see you more often, and then we can discuss more foods and chocolates and Michigan. Maybe I'll give you a Michigan hat, a Wolverine's hat. But thank you for your time. I really appreciate this. This is going to be a great episode, and I'll send you the link once I put it out. I really appreciate your time here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great to meet you both.
This was great.
Wonderful meeting you, Addy.
I hope to see you at a comedy show. Yeah, and I hope you do some comedy with me at my show. Cool.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Addy.
Thanks, man.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'm going to hang up now.
All right.
Ego Trip is the greatest band of all time. Buy their music. Also, American Timelines is a product of History for Jerks and a member of the Queen City Podcast Network. Find out more about History for Jerks at historyforjerks.com. Check out the Gruff and Loud Show on YouTube and the Nerd School podcast featuring the sexy art star. There's also a dumb t-shirt shop on Threadless, created by History for Jerks. You can buy a Gordon Jump shirt or an Edie McClurg shirt. It's really dumb and stupid.